Do you know how the Heimlich Maneuver was invented? People ask me that all the time. They say, how did your dad invent the Heimlich Maneuver? And I say that, well, he asked us, meaning members of the family, to sit at the table and swallow a raw piece of meat, and then he tried different things on us. Now, that was a joke. But here's how he really invented it. See, my dad was one of the world's leading thoracic surgeons, and he had already invented several operations and medical devices that had made him known throughout the medical world. Well, Dad read that every year 4,000 Americans and 80,000 people around the world die from choking, that it was the sixth leading cause of accidental death. And what's tragic about choking is that it isn't necessarily sick people or elderly people who choke. Many were in the prime of life when they died. First thing my dad discovered is that the method they were teaching to save a choking victim, namely slapping them on the back, didn't work and in fact drove the food deeper. He referred to these back blows as death blows. He also understood that when someone chokes, they only have 4 minutes before they suffer death or brain damage. Now, he knew that all of us have air in our chests, and he thought that that air might be able to be used to dislodge the food. So what he did was he took some dogs in his lab and he anesthetized them. And by the way, for you animal lovers, he didn't hurt the poochies. So what he did was he put a piece of meat in the dog's airway and he kind of compressed the stomach just under the rib cage. Guess what? The meat popped out. So he wrote up his research in a medical journal. I mean, obviously he couldn't risk having actual people choke. And what happened was a nationally syndicated columnist wrote a story that went around the country saying, hey, if somebody's choking, you might as well try this, otherwise they're going to die anyway. And there's a guy who was in Seattle, and the Seattle Times had published this column. Now, this guy, whose name was Isaac Pia, had read it, and a few days later, his neighbor ran over to his house screaming, my wife's choking. So Pia ran into the neighbor's house, and he had read this article. He jumped into action and used what we now know to be the Heimlich Maneuver, and the food popped out. It was a piece of chicken. So there was a big story about this in the local media, and that led to more and more people learning how to save a choking victim. And every time there was a save, it produced more and more news coverage until the Heimlich Maneuver became known throughout the country. Do you know we have reports of even kids as young as 4 years old saving the life of a classmate or a brother or sister? The Heimlich Maneuver is now credited with saving thousands and thousands of lives around the world. Well, as far as my dad goes, I'm proud to bear his name.